Right, you lot, and welcome to the 14th part of this 17-part lyric breakdown series. We're really in the tail end now. Now, I'm going to say it again, because I know I said it in the other one, but not maybe you didn't see that one. The reason there's 17 parts and not 18 parts is because of the fact that I broke down Not Enough a few months prior, so it wasn't part of this series. But I forgot to mention that in the beginning, so people just thought maybe I was skipping one of the songs, like Waves or something, because I've already done. Nope. The 18 songs are as they are, but I've already broken down on that. Right, so today's one is Go On. And this is a unique case, I think, Go On. I'm going to call it an interesting one, and I think it is a fascinating song, and I think it's a big moment in the album, because I think it is one where it kind of changed what it was going to be throughout how my mindset changed. This was one of the last ones I wrote, and I wrote this around the spring of this year. And I think around the spring of this year, things really started to turn for me. And I think that mindset, the negativity that I had before, kind of went away. And I'm almost like at that point, I've grown, like 9 months since that summer where I started writing reverse. I'm actually looking back at some of the feelings and some of the stuff I did back then. And I am like laughing at myself almost. And of course, I'm still not 100% over some aspects of that at this point, but it's kind of that. So I'm kind of looking at my current state, but also reminiscing on my past state. And Go On is a unique case, as I said at the beginning, because it's actually based off. It's actually an adaptation of a song that I did a long time ago. It's an adaptation of something that I wrote when I was 9, which was called Go On. And the whole idea of Go On, the original one, was that nowadays you watch the news and you see everything is so depressing. Like honestly, the amount of negativity, especially 2016 onwards, and I think I wrote it around 2016, 2017, because I just felt that you'd go on the news and it was just a hellhole. And that only got worse going into the start of this decade with the bloody coronavirus. And I was like, you know what, like, we're only on this planet for such amount of time, just like, before you know it, your life's gonna be over, just go on, like, get on with it, go on, like, you know what I mean? It was quite a mature thing for a child of 9. And of course, the core theme of that did remain, but instead of projecting it onto a mass audience, I put it onto myself. And I've got a song similar to the original idea for Go On coming up with Golden Years, which is my single, which I'm really excited for, coming out later on this year, so around the end of October. So let's get on to this breakdown, because I think there's a lot to unpack here. Verse 1, catastrophizing, act like I want to be 6 feet under. What was I doing? Catastrophic blunder. What's your time? Drains my view is tainted. With his entire future so painted, couldn't conquer with progression, I'm bombarded with depression. Possibility halted with minus obsession, but now that's nothing to me. Only a distant memory. Ought to unpack that. So it's kind of me looking back at kind of how I would make things extreme. I didn't see how I could get past that stage that I was in, especially during like the crux of year 9. I thought, oh, this is gonna go on for years, and every time I thought it would get better, something else came up and made it worse. But for the first time, I was like, actually, I was just catastrophizing. I was just making this out to be worse, and of course, it was horrible. And I'm not trying to say that time in my life was horrible, was good, and that I'm just exaggerating how bad it was. It was that bad, but it's like I'm just kind of laughing at myself now because it's like, why am I? It's nothing to me now. Like I can laugh at it now because it is so minuscule. That kind of that idea of just watching days go away, and I have this mindset thing where I have to be working towards a project every single day, especially like right now 'cause we're in the summer holidays of school. So well, I'm not like revising that. I'm literally just working on video scripts and songs all of the time, every day. I've every day I've got like a checklist. I have to do something before I go to bed, and that's how I've been doing it. And I felt that I couldn't conquer with the progression, and I was still releasing, main channel videos every Sunday, but they were a nightmare to do. And that's kind of, I think, why I burnt out with commentary so much, because I was forcing myself to make videos because I knew if I missed, and whenever I missed a week, like I had to miss a couple of weeks just because I couldn't do it, or just because of illness in general. And I was like, I felt so bad doing that. That only made worse, so I needed to do it. I needed to have that hobby, and it's like all my I love the line "possibilities halted with mindless obsession" because I do feel that I wasted a year of my life, and it's like, and it's just some really clever lyricism which I really like. The chorus, I wanted to do something that I didn't do before a chorus, which was all of my choruses, and it's kind of what I noticed at some point is that they all repeat themselves twice. Like, for example, like "warn you, I saw how she used you, I saw how she used you, stay still, the sex didn't warn you, saw how she used you." I sing it twice, right? And then what's another example? Wait for potential, I sing it twice. The only one where I don't is like not enough, but that's a more drawn out one, isn't it? That's a ballad. And I wanted to do an extended chorus, but instead of singing the same thing twice, I had something new in the end. So, ain't it great now to go on to become the person that I strive to be? Go on, plant some legacy, go on. Finally, so that everything can track to go on. My race is the final lap to go on. The end is in sight now. Keep my head down, make it right. And it's like, now that that is gone, the fog, it was like a fog, metaphorical fog, because I wasn't able to focus on my future, I wasn't able to focus on what I wanted to do, and I think all I had at that point was those videos, was that main channel stuff, like I said earlier. But what I now I know, like, focus on. Now I know the avenues to take, where I strive to be, that sort of idea. So it's like I see a direction now. The fog's gone. Verse 2, ain't it funny how life can change? Like you look at path photos and nothing's the same. Perspective, faith planted in your naivety. That person's now a stranger, now your burden's free. An insane motivation shift, like the flip of a switch, but I came to my senses and then got drift. And time I was spending trying to reach Mendel, I could pretend that my life was close to end, and chapter is barely finished, so many fists in the same. It's like, that had to be a love note there at the end, but it's like, yeah, it is mental, like how a year can change a person, and I feel that I've changed so much in a year, and I feel unrecognisable. Points across there's aspects of still that, but like I actually don't, like, I can't visualize doing some of the stuff I did then now, and it's weird because like it's just that time frame. Because I can go back further than that. I can go back to year 7, or even like when I did like Teddy Special and stuff. I can still see elements myself. But when I look back at that year 9 phase, it's a complete stranger. It's like I was hypnotized in a sense, and it's like the past photos line is just some like symmetry. Like there's no real meaning to that. It's just one of those placeholder lyrics. It's like it sounds nice, so you just kind of put it there, but there's not a lot to it. The face planting, I've done a lot of that because I had an issue with oversharing during that period. So I think a lot of the stupid things that I did, everyone and their nan found out about it. So that means I can be constantly reminded, which at points is it's kind of funny to laugh at it now because it doesn't affect me. Then some of the stuff I'm like, why did I do that? And I kind of really like this hook at the end of the time I would spend in trying to mending. I spent so much time trying to fix things that I just knew I couldn't. And I really, yeah, I wanted this song to be more uplifting and light-hearted. And actually, like, all those things that you talk about in the first half of the album are kind of gone now. Then the chorus is repeated, so we don't need to talk about that again. Verse 3, now I've climbed over the wall, I see the will, I know the right mindset, my heart can't be held. I feel my life in touching distance, have to move at a quick rate for my own sake, I want a good faith. Why waste so many days there? When there's so much pressure to pursue and do, I have to go on. I love that imagery of like now I've climbed over the wall, and it's kind of continuing the themes. You know, this is one of like some songs like I'll shake it up in some of the verses. Like for example, in Always Been You, verse 1 is about my experience of family, verse 2 is about other families that I've met, verse 3 is about me thanking my family. It's like, okay, this is like all 3 verses are kind of going around the same theme because that is the point of the song. And it's like, why? But and it's just me constantly laughing and face planting myself, and yeah. And then the final kind of bit is go on, go live your life, and see it will be over. You can do it. You imagine it always 9 crying yourself asleep. There's a huge world to meet. That was those 4 lines there were the chorus of at least part of the chorus of the OG Go On. I wrote what I was lying, so I knew I had to. I thought it'd be kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing to do to kind of include and incorporate the old Go On into it. I thought that would be a clever idea, something that I could do, and yeah, that's what I did. So Go On is very much a big kind of stepping stone, and I think it is. Waste of Potential, it's kind of a sequel to this, which I'm glad I'm doing that one next, because Waste of Potential is like, although it comes way earlier and it's a separate thing, it does kind of correlate with this one. But I needed to have a song that was actually like, you know what? Look how much progress I am, and look how much of a better state I'm in right now. And I feel like a lot of the album, I did want a more uplifting feel to it, because I think it made it out like it was so negative. But of course, this song has its negative moments, but I think after Persona, I really wanted the rest of the album to be positive, and I think that was an intentional thing. I think Persona is the final straw, which we'll get to Persona, because that is the one I'm excited to do, because that's the big moment. So yeah, we've got 3 to go: Waste of Potential, Persona, and finally Thriving. I think all 3 of them kind of follow on from this golden theme, because all 3 of them I wrote near the end, near the crunch time of the album releasing, so they're going to be a lot of fun to do. Maybe not as deep or like as powerful as some of the earlier ones, but you'll see.